ready for this morning materials?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, but before that, I will discuss a little bit about our material last week. So, I will ask you first, who still remember about our previous meeting?
I miss
Yeah, Dina, please.
recount text, miss.
What is recount text?
Recount text is a text about story, action, or activity.
Okay, very good answer, Dina. So, last week, we learned about recount text. As Dina said before, recount text is a text about story, action, or activity. So, what kind of story you need? Please raise your hand.
Experiences, miss.
Yeah, experiences. So, anyone?
Event in the past.
Event in the past. Okay, good answer. So, we just mentioned about kind of story in recount text, such as experiences, the event in the past, and so on. Okay, by the combination of your answer, who knows what the definition of recount text?
Recount text is a text about story, action, or activity which is retells event or experiences in the past.
Okay, very good answer, Devi. Give applause for your friend. So, recount text is a text that telling the reader about story, action, or activity which is retell events or experiences in the past. Okay, students. Now, let's move to the characteristic of recount text. So, who still remember about what the characteristic of recount text based on the definition before? Please raise your hand.
Focus on specific participants is like I. Using past tense.
Okay, very good answer, Frida. What else? Anyone?
Using action verb, using temporal sequence.
Okay, what is the example of it? Anyone? Who knows the example? Please raise your hand.
Okay, students, so don't be scared and don't worry about it. So now I would like to give you example about using temporal sequence and using action verb. So please listen to me.
The example of using temporal sequence is like on Monday, on Sunday, on Saturday, and so on. And the using action verb is like using word went, stayed, and something like that. Yeah, so far, do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, so now you have now the example of it, right? Okay, who can replay what I said before? Please raise your hand.
The example of using temporal sequence are on Monday, on Sunday, on Saturday, and the example of using action verb is using word like went, stayed, and etc.
Very good, Anggi. So the characteristic of recount text are using simple past tense, using past continuous tense, using past perfect tense, using past perfect continuous tense, using temporal sequence, using action verb, and something like that. So I have told you the characteristic of recount text. So now let's move to the generic structure of the recount text. Okay, who knows what the generic structure of recount text?
I am Miss. Yeah, the generic structure of recount text are orientation, events, and reorientation.
Yeah, that's good. So then, what are the content of orientation, events, or reorientation? Who knows? Please raise your hand.
Yeah, the content of orientation is background information. In the events, there are chronological sequence. And I think in the last one is reorientation. In the orientation is their personal comment of the event.
Yeah, that's right. So in the orientation, there are background information such as who involved in the story, where it happened, when it happened, and so on. So in the events, there are chronological sequence or series of events. And the last one is reorientation. In the reorientation is about what happened in the end. So that's all about generic structure of recount text. Yeah, so far, do you understand?
Yes, Miss.
Good. Okay, students, I have told you the material last week. So now, who can repeat what I said before or what we discussed just now?
I think We discussed about definition of recount text, the characteristic of recount text, and the last one is the generic structure of recount text. Yeah, we just learned about the definition of recount text, the characteristic of recount text, and the generic structure of recount text. Okay students, all of you are very smart, and for all of you who answer all these questions will get a star and get additional points. So now, let's move to the discussion.